Do they want Charlie Blackmon? The Cardinals are going south. Cardinals. The Rockies are going south. They're in last place in the West. Remember what long ago they were in second place? No more. Blackmon's 33 years old. His great days are not too far ahead. They're going to be over. Is there a team who could use a speedy, leadoff power kind of guy from the left side? And the answer is sure there are. Phillies. Oh, I love that one. The Phillies have had this problem. I said it earlier in the show, and I sort of come back to my starting points. Remember I said earlier in the show that Phillies would be looking for an outfielder? Well, why not Charlie Blackmon? They've played around with everything. Nick Williams isn't the answer. Odubel Herrera goes out. He's out for the year. They moved Kingery out there, but Kingery's, they like him in a rotating type position. Nick Williams is hitting 165. Charlie Blackmon in Philadelphia to go with that lineup? Whew! And one more. We talked about Lance Lynn. And I was reading this morning that possible landing spots are the Padres, Yankees, or 28. The Yankees had him. I've already said my piece on that one. I'm just not a Lance Lynn promoter. I've seen it too many times in fantasy where we add him while he's a Cardinal because he's pitching well in June and July, and then we get to August and September and he wears down and he doesn't pitch well, and he's a year older than last year. We all are, but it's not going to get better. But the Texas Rangers, that would be a major coup to haul in some loot for Minor and Lynn, pitchers that were scrap heaps that Texas just picked up, nobody wanted. And if they could land some good prospects, what a great way to conduct business in Texas. So Jack is saying, according to MLB, the Rangers, Reds, and Cardinals are interested in Blackmon. Okay, so why would the Rangers and Reds want Charlie Blackmon? They're not going to make the playoffs. The Cardinals, maybe so. Hadn't thought about that one. Still like him going to Philly. And I hope the Yankees do not get Lance Lynn. Oh my gosh. That would give me a major case of indigestion. And I don't think there's enough Rolaids in the store to cure it. Jake Odorizzi, talked about him earlier. He's done. 9 earned runs last night. Are you kidding me? So we're talking about mediocre players at the trade deadline. And if I'm looking to get better, do I really want a mediocre player on my team? And the problem being there just aren't that many studs out there to be had. But where there are, go get them. Let's talk about games for today and possible daily players that you might want to pick up. Starting at 12:10 today. We got 3 afternoon games. At 12:10, the Padres and Lauer are at the Mets at Citi Field in Flushing, and Jake DeGrom. I'm looking at statistics here. Manny Machado is 4 for 12 in his career off of Jake DeGrom. And I know we've only got a small sample size. I like to look at 10 at-bats or more, but I can give you a player with 6 at-bats and 3 hits and 2 home runs off of Jake DeGrom, and that is Hunter Renfroe. Now, I don't like to recommend players with less than 10 at-bats, but if you did go that route, Renfroe, and check it, see if he's starting, but 3 for 6 with 2 homers, that could be a good pickup today for fantasy, for daily, against Jake DeGrom. All right, Cardinals are at the Pirates at 12:35. Miles Michaelis, 6-10 with a 4.17 ERA, and off of a 9-inning shutout. Joe Musgrove pitched great his last game out, 7-8 with a 4.08 ERA. That's at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Adam Frazier is 9 for 25. That's a 360 average off of Miles Michaelis. and he could probably be had cheap today in daily. Corey Dickerson, I told you he was hot last night. He's 5 for 14. That's the 357 average off of Michaelis. Now stay away today or be careful today of Starling Marte, who is 4 for 25 in his career. That's a 160 average against Michaelis. For the Cardinals, again, less than 10 at-bats on some of these, so take that for what it is. But in 11 plate appearances, Dexter Fowler has 4 hits and 2 walks with 2 doubles and a triple off of Joe Musgrove. Tyler O'Neill is 3 for 6 in his career with a homer off of Musgrove. Paul Goldschmidt, 3 for 8. And Jose Martinez is 4 for 10. That's a 400 average off of Musgrove. At 4:05, the Rockies play the Nationals. It's Hoffman, 1-3. I told you earlier against Max Scherzer, 9-5 with a 2.30 ERA coming off of the IL. No credible stats for National bats off of Hoffman. He's a right-hander. And this game at Nationals Park featuring the return of Matt Scherzer, Colorado Rockies off of Scherzer, Charlie Blackmon, just mentioned a few minutes ago, 4 for 13 with 2 home runs, 308 average. Chris Iannetta at catcher, if he's starting, he may be a catcher cheap that you want to add in daily today, 4 for 14 with a homer. That's a 286 average off of Mad Max. So just, Iannetta, that's a sneaky pick, right? Night games, Yankees, Red Sox, Tanaka, Porcello. Looking at Red Sox batters off of Tanaka, J.D. Martinez is 8 for 18 with 3 home runs off of Masahiro Tanaka. That's a 444 average and a 1.056 slugging percentage. Love me some J.D. Martinez tonight in daily fantasy at home against Masahiro Tanaka. Andrew Benintendi, who's been heating it up of late, 8 for 25 with 2 home runs. That's a 320 average. Rafael Devers, 5 for 11. That's a 455 average. Mookie Betts, 14 for 43 with 2 homers, 10 runs scored. That's a 326 average. What I'm saying is the Red Sox hit Tanaka historically really well. They're at home tonight, and these are, huge is too small a word. These are gigantic games for the Red Sox. 10 games out in the standing, 11 games out in the standings. A 4-game set with the Yankees. They got to be thinking sweep. They got to be thinking 3 out of 4. They can't split. And these Red Sox bats hit. Xander Bogaerts, 11 for 38. That's a 289 average. All of these are great hitters against Tanaka. So what do the Yankees do against Porcello? Well, Edwin Encarnacion, 14 for 47 with 3 home runs. That's a 298 average. And that's about as good as it gets for players over 10 at-bats. Now, the Yankees as a team are hitting 260 off of Porcello. I don't have any numbers on Tauchman against him, but I like Tauchman in daily because he's hot right now, and the Yankees are starting him every game. So let's move on to the next game. We got the Twins at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Berrios for Minnesota. Giolito for the White Sox. I guess you'd say these are the aces on each team. Berrios is 8-5 with a 2.96 ERA on the season. Giolito 11-4 with a 3.12 ERA. And for daily, here's some picks. James McCann, who may be traded at the deadline, catcher for the White Sox, 6 for 15 off of Berrios with 3 homers. If you don't like Iannetta, you got to like James McCann at catcher today. Jack says, do I like Tanaka tonight? The answer is capital N, capital O. I don't like him at Fenway Park. I don't like him against these Red Sox. Not tonight. Not in Fenway. No. But I do like McCann at catcher. Abreu, 7 for 27 off of Berrios, a 259 average. Looking at Twin batters against Giolito, Max Kepler, 5 for 10, 500 average. Rosario, homers. .267 career and 15 at-bats off of Giolito. And he homered last night against the Yankees. And I like to see what player does the night before. I'm into these streaks. And Rosario is that kind of player. So I like Rosario tonight against Giolito in Chicago. And I know it's a pitcher's park. But Rosario, the way he attacks the ball. Cleveland, Plutko pitching tonight at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. He's 3-2 against Montgomery. Traded over from Chicago. He's 1-3. Not a lot to give you there. Statistic-wise, I will say Whit Merrifield struggles. Historically, he's had 9 at-bats and 1 hit. But I don't have any player on either team with 10 at-bats or more, so I'm not going there giving any advice on fantasy ads in that game. The Orioles are at the Angels. Eshelman for Baltimore. Suarez for the Angels. I have no hitting statistics there to give you. Let's see. And I think that's all I've got for today for daily fantasy. Just some quick hits from last night. Rosario homered in a loss to the Yankees. Ronas Elias threw a clean night for a save for Seattle last night. Daniel Vogelbach had 2 homers. I told you that Ketel Marte continued his hit streak. I just got to talk about him a little bit more. 22nd home run. He's hitting .376 with 9 home runs, 23 RBIs, and 33 runs scored since June 1st. Love Ketel Marte. Told you about Vogelbach a moment ago. He has 25 homers on the year. Now, he's came into the game only hitting 129 off of left-handers. He has feasted off of right-handers. So if you see Vogelbach facing a lefty, sit him. If you see Vogelbach facing a right-hander, I want him in my lineup. Carson Kelly homered last night. Santander doubled and homered. John Means took a loss. Chapman got a save. Stephen Vogt picked up 3 hits for the A's. It was a great night. Great night. And today is a great game. The first game again today is at 12:10 p.m. So being that we're about 2 hours away, it's not too early to set your lineups. Let me see if the lineups are out for any of those early games. They are. The 12:10 game, San Diego will lead off with Fernando Tatis, Manny Margot, Manny Machado. Eric Hosmer cleans up. Hunter Renfroe, I told you earlier if he's in the lineup, and I do like Renfroe today, batting 5th. Franmil Reyes batting 6th. Francisco Mejia batting 7th. Luis Urias batting 8th. Again, only 1 hit since his call-up. And Eric Lauer 5-7 with a .431. The left-hander starts today against the Metropolitans, who lead off with Ahmed Rosario, J.D. Davis, Pete Alonso, Wilson Ramos, Robinson Cano, Todd Frazier, Michael Conforto, Juan Lagares, and Jacob deGrom 5-7 with a 3.02 ERA will be pitching today for the Mets. The other 12, it's a 12:35 start, St. Louis at Pittsburgh. In that game, Pittsburgh, the favorite, the over and under is 9. Oh, in that Met game, the over and under is 7.5. St. Louis, Tommy Edman will play third, Dexter Fowler in center field, Jose Martinez in right, Paul Goldschmidt at first, Paul DeYoung off his 3-homer game batting 5th, and at shortstop, Colton Wong, Matt Wieters, Yarrow Munoz, and Miles Michaelis. So O'Neill off for the 2nd straight day. So if you added O'Neill, he looks like he is a platoon kind of player. Not playing today, and Munoz is playing again in left field. For the Pirates, Adam Frazier leads off, Brian Reynolds, Starling Marte, Josh Bell, Colin Moran, Corey Dickerson, Kevin Newman, Jacob Stallings, and Joe Musgrove. So those are your 2 lineups that are out for your 12:10 and 12:35 games. Guys, it's been great to be with you this morning. Thank you, Lenny, for allowing me to fill in and bring a lot of information to the table. I've enjoyed the show. I love these shows. Okay, I love them. Hope you guys are enjoying them. Cam, David Kabizzle, Jack Youngblood, J-Man, Lou Landers, Guest Delmar, all of you that I mentioned earlier, thank you guys for being here. It's been a great morning. Go watch some baseball. Let's go over the schedule today on Thursday. on Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports. We've got at 2 o'clock Kevin Hastings, Aloha Fantasy Baseball.